Okay, our client here has sustained a third-degree burn on the dorsal aspect of her right forearm, wrist, and hand after a gas stove exploded in her kitchen 1 week ago. As an OT team, we are working in an acute burn unit, and we are responsible for providing a custom orthosis. So, for the pattern, we're going to do the same pattern as a resting hand orthosis. So to begin, we are going to trace the entirety of the hand all the way down to 2/3 of the wrist, as you can see here. The landmarks that you want to mark are going to be 2/3 down the forearm on either side, just proximal to the ulnar head and the radial styloid, the thumb CMC joint, just proximal to the 5th metacarpal phalangeal joint or MCP joint and the 2nd MCP joint, the thumb web space, and the web space between the 2nd and 3rd digits. We'll have our client remove her hand, and we're going to do 3 finger widths on either side of the forearm. Two finger widths on either side of the wrist. One finger width on either side of the 5th MCP and 2nd MCP joints. And then we are going to connect the dots between the thumb web space and the web space between the 2nd and 3rd digits using a dotted line. You can X out this line to make sure that you don't cut along it. And then you can trace around starting from the forearm portion, following those dots that you made. And then when you get to the thumb portion, you're going to go over the thumb until you get to the thumb CMC, where you're going to make a curve up to the point where your web space between the 2nd and 3rd and thumb web space connect. And then you will take from the downward portion of that curve you just made and bring that out and connect it back down to the forearm portion. And there is your pattern. After cutting out your pattern and transferring it to thermoplastic material, you can heat for about 1 minute and then form to your client's hand with wrists in about 10 degrees of extension and finger and thumb in intrinsic plus position. You use OralFit thermoplastic material 1/8 inch non-perforated with memory and coating. Due to our client's acute injury, this material provides stability against contracture while skin grafts are healing. While molding, it is advised to have 2 therapists present, one to mold the wrist and forearm portion and one to mold the finger and thumb portion. You want to ensure that fingers are in the intrinsic plus position to minimize the chance of contractures. So here we have our finished product. You can see the edema management was addressed using elastomol underneath the orthosis, and Coban has been used on top to secure in place using zero stretch. The Coban is advised over strapping at this point in the healing stage because there's acute edema. The skin could swell in between the strapping, creating stress on the wounds and discomfort for the patient. So with this, you'll want to continue wrapping all the way below the bottom of the orthosis. You'll advise your patient to wear this at all times, except for when a trained individual is present with them to remove it and change their wounds.